Hey everybody, Craig here from Yes Have Some Podcast. Before we get started tonight, I wanted to talk a little bit about our ongoing partnership with the Ghostbusters Containment Unit Autograph Group. That group is run by my buddies, Matt and Tom. They are wonderful human beings. It's been awesome getting to know them and working with them, and they're total professionals. They are autograph experts. And right now they are running a private signing with Ernie Hudson. That's right, the Ghostbuster, Winston Zeddemore himself. We had Ernie on Yes Have Some a couple weeks ago. We talked about Ghostbusters, we talked about Ghostbusters Afterlife, and of course we talked about this signing that they're doing. Now, this is how a private signing works. You're going to go to the Ghostbusters Containment Unit Facebook page. They also have a private Facebook group. I recommend joining. Wonderful discussion about collecting Ghostbusters autographs. And you're going to find the post where they talk about the private signing, and you're going to contact them to let them know what you want. They have photos available. You can do 8x10s, 11x14s, things like that. Or you can also send in your item. Let's say you've got a poster you've already got signed by Dan Aykroyd, or you're working on a project, or you've got an action figure of Winston that you want to get signed. You can send it directly to them. They will get it signed for you. You can get it personalized. You can get anything you want on there, quotes from the movie, things of that nature, and then they send it right back to you. It's wonderful. Keep in mind the deadline is November 6th, 2020, so just a few more days until you can get that order in and secure the autograph. We want you to get in on the Ernie Hudson signing, and as an added bonus, we are partnering with our friend John Yerkeba, who you very much know. He is a wonderful artist and is doing an exclusive Winston Zeddemore Ernie Hudson print. 10 lucky folks who sign up for this private signing will get the bonus print signed by Ernie Hudson himself. It's kind of like a Willy Wonka YHS containment unit golden ticket type of situation. So head to the Ghostbusters Containment Unit, get in on the Ernie Hudson private signing, and get in on all of their upcoming exciting, we can't even talk about it yet. That's how exciting we think it's going to be. Private signings, and do it. Just do it. Come on. I don't want to beg. Just do it. I'm getting some autographs. I know you are too. Ernie Hudson's the best. Let's get on with the show. Okay, here we go.
I don't want to grow up. Do you want some?
Jurassic Park. Now playing at TMNT.
Ecto goggles with Ecto Popper, neutron blaster, and water zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some Podcast.
Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some Podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And what a week it's been already. I'm tired. I'm sick of podcasting. I need a new career, but that's fine.
I'm not sick of it, but I am tired.
This is where we all talk about Jake, how tired are you today?
I'm pretty tired. I'm laying down right now.
Are you really?
Dude.
Is this
Yeah.
a lay down?
That's
Taking
awesome.
a nap.
Nice. We've really rarely reclined while podcasting. I remember specifically when we were in New York, we did it. When we were at the Stanley, we did it.
My goal is to try to record a whole podcast while asleep. That's what I'm getting to.
Some would say you have.
Yeah,
some would
that's
say
definitely happened.
I have. I'm the one who talks in her sleep.
So, yeah, what was that about?
It's called Vivid Nightmares.
Okay, there you go. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We've got a special guest coming up. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. I got to quit calling these people special guests. You can't just give the same, like, you know, we'll see how special he really is.
Everyone's special.
But yeah, we're going to check in with everybody and see how everyone's doing. Jake, how is your week going?
It's fine. There's nothing exciting happening. You ask me that every week, and I appreciate it, but it's like, just working. Tomorrow is like a Halloween day at work, so that will be fun. Possibly fun, possibly hellish. But yeah, it's been a fine week.
Good. We got a lot of good feedback from last week's episode, the Evil Dead recap, Evil Dead 1, 2, and 3.
This one's not going to be as good.
It's not. We're not going to live up to it. We could just say that right
I
now.
just want to apologize right off the bat
in
here.
advance. Sorry to Trevor from NECA, who's going to be joining us in a few minutes.
You just spoiled the guest.
Well, I wanted to just give a little tease.
No.
We only have Trevors on our show. It's either Trevor Morgan or Trevor from NECA. We
start everybody, Trevor.
Hey, welcome, Trevor. A lot of good feedback. That was fun last week. People seem to really enjoy that. So if you haven't caught up on that episode, make sure that you do and that you watch the Evil Dead movies. And then Abby and I, we actually started Ash versus Evil Dead, available on Netflix.
Yeah.
Watch the first episode. Abby, what'd you think of that first episode?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun, wild romp. We got to talk to Jake about it after we finished it, and
a wild romp.
Wild romp.
What are you writing a review? A wild romp.
I think so. No, it was fucked up and it was funny, which is what I like about Evil Dead. And it had some of the same camera angles where you're like from the position of the monster, and I liked that. And Bruce Campbell's funny and charming in the role. So yeah, I'm excited. We only watched one episode, so we got a lot to dig into. But
yeah, and then we also we watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre last night.
Sure did.
What was that? Abby said that was like going back to the Death Museum.
Yeah, but not quite as bad because you're not actually trapped inside of a building.
Remember that time we did the Death Museum episode and Abby just didn't do it?
I walked out. That's called, speaking your truth.
I like that you did not leave the Death Museum, but you left the Death Museum episode.
Because I could. Because I couldn't physically. Yeah.
My favorite thing about the entire Death Museum thing, and I'm not going to bring up anything that was in there, Abby, so it's fine. But my favorite thing that happened about the entire Death Museum is when I brought up, when I was like, hey, I want to go to this place, I made sure I warned you guys about what kind of place it was. And then as we pulled in, Abby was like, so what is this place?
Dude, I was like, well, in my mind, I can handle anything.
Well, we had just eaten a delicious pizza.
Thankfully, yeah, before.
Well, I think we blew off some friends we were supposed to meet up with.
Did we?
Yeah, we were going to the fucking Death Museum.
Dude, yeah.
We're going full lock, stock, and barrel.
Full force.
In some cases, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So
yes.
No, it was good. Texas Chainsaw. Maybe we'll maybe next week we
can cover it.
Because I want to watch some more of those.
Similar to the Death Museum.
Yes.
It was desolate and depraved.
I've met people like Leatherface, like in real life. They usually hang out at the DMV. And anyways, so good stuff.
Everyone's got to get their license.
Everybody's got to drive. Even Michael Myers had to get his driver's license. They cut that scene out of Halloween. Well, cool. A couple things before we bring Trevor. Like I said, Trevor Zammit, he is he's the guy, man. He works for NECA. He's a sculptor. He's a toy designer. He's the brand manager for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And we've tricked him into coming back on Yes Have Some. And we were just going to...
We fooled him into friendship.
Yeah, we fooled him into friendship. He thinks we're going to have a loose conversation about toys, but as soon as he gets on, I'm going to be like, when are we getting this figure? When are we getting this figure? When are we getting this one?
What's up with this Krang?
Yeah, where's my Krang's android body? No, it's going to be good. We're going to talk toys and see how he's doing. It's going to be fun. Before we do that, a couple things I want to make sure that we plug. Obviously, social media. Make sure that you're following us on Instagram and Twitter at YHS Podcast. Make sure that you are signing up for Patreon. Patreon's been on fire lately. We had a lot of bonus content in October. We're doing basically weekly audio bonus episodes, overtime episodes where we kind of get into some stuff that we don't get into the podcast, maybe a little bit more
overtime.
Yeah, a little bit after dark, not dirty stuff, but just stuff maybe you don't want public.
It's bonus content.
Only Patreon public. You can sign up at patreon.com/yeshavesome. It's $5 a month. We do have an annual deal where if you sign up for the annual plan, you get 15% off. And for a limited time, you get a free t-shirt. So it's a really good deal. So you pay like $50 for the year of Patreon and you get a shirt, which is like $25 value. So basically, if you don't do it, you're not a real fan.
Yeah, you're missing out.
Actually, I like that people are doing it, but I'm also kind of like, come on. Now I got to send you a shirt. It's a whole thing. No, I love it. Because I want more people to wear the shirts. I want people to spread the YHS love.
Wasn't someone wearing your Slimer drawing shirt while voting?
Yes, I saw that. I saw it. One of our listeners, Ken, was wearing the updated Slimer drawing T-shirt to go vote. So I don't know what that says about who he voted for, but
maybe someone else voted for Slimer after seeing that.
Yeah, somebody saw his shirt, was like, I know, I'm writing in Slimer. With line drawing. So yeah, sign up for Patreon. We're doing bonus audio every week, and we really appreciate the support. And then this Friday night, we've got Midnight Mando launching on YouTube every week during the duration of season 2 of The Mandalorian. We are going to be doing an after show, a recap. I can't believe Mandalorian's already here. Jake, you texted me the other day. You were like, I can't believe that this is even really happening. Like
you had said something about it, and I was like, oh, is that next week?
It feels this year's so weird. Like we keep joking, time has no meaning. So, but I'm excited for Mandalorian. So that'll start tomorrow from when we're recording this. Mm-hmm. So more on that next week. We'll kind of recap the recap and like tune into YouTube at midnight Eastern and watch us talk about The Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. Our first guest this week will be Troy Benjamin from the Ghostbusters. Special guest. Ghostbusters Interdimensional Cross Trip. Troy Benjamin. And he's just going to join and talk. He doesn't have to record anything. He doesn't have to do any video. He doesn't have to do anything.
How exciting for Troy.
It's like when I get to be on another podcast, I'm like, oh, I don't have to do anything. I just get to talk and then I'm done and get a pizza. And last but not least, I do need to plug Secret Santa going on in Yes Have Some group therapy. I think there's already 20 people signed up. So we're doing a $50 limit Secret Santa. You can get
Hail Santa.
Hail Santa. Jake, what
yeah.
Now, if you were in the Secret Santa, what kind of stuff? Because when you sign up for the Secret Santa, you got to like put a wish list, talk about some of the stuff that maybe you'd like to get. What could you see yourself getting?
Probably like the Dino Riders T-Rex complete mint and package.
yeah, that would be a good one.
Probably some like X Plus Godzilla. That's all in budget.
If you get Papa J. Key to be your Secret Santa.
Yes, hope for J. Key.
Budget doesn't apply to me.
Yes. I will say,
remember that if you get Jake, there's no budget.
I'm in the Secret Santa, but I'm representing Yes Have Some podcast. So I'm not going to say that if you get me or Abby and Abby's looking at me weird. What?
Wait, say that again.
I'm in the Secret Santa.
Yeah, but not representing YHS, just as Craig.
No, well, I was going to say, you haven't signed up yet. I didn't know if you were going to sign up.
Well, I want to sign up because I want prequel stuff.
Okay, so if you get Abby, that's going to be regular. But if you get Craig, it could be a bonus prize.
Okay.
You can get something really good. Maybe not.
All right.
Expect all the Yes Have Some shirts we haven't sent out for Patreon.
You guys like GB fan stickers? Cool.
Oh my God. So really, we're gonna get to our guest now. Like I said, Trevor, he's a really cool dude. We had him on with Randy from NECA a couple months ago. I know he's working hard on. I don't know. He makes toys. It's like the greatest job in the world.
Yeah, it's what we all want to do.
It's what I want to do.
He's working hard on his passion.
Yeah. Is he? You don't know that. He might be like, oh, I wanted to be an astronaut. So
we'll find out in this interview.
I hate making toys. But no, I'm excited to talk to Trevor. So before we call him, anything else that anybody needs to get off of their chest before we start?
No.
Nothing?
Not that I can think of.
Nothing?
No.
Are we buying Ghostbuster shoes at midnight tomorrow night?
There's a chance. If Logan Kim has them, I need them.
I saw that. Oh. And I also saw McKenna Grace invading Annie Potts' dressing room on the set of Young Sheldon playing Happy Birthday on a ukulele. So
cool.
That's what we're missing out on not being in show business, folks. By the way, happy birthday to Annie Potts and Ivan Reitman. They both had birthdays this week. I don't want to say it's like a drug. Okay, cool. So are we ready to talk to Trevor?
Yes.
I want to see what's up with Trevor.
Yeah.
All right, let's get him on the line. All right, everybody, as promised, our guest is now joining us right now from NECA Toys and from California, I believe. We're going to ask him where he is. Trevor Zammit. Trevor, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Man, good. This is the part where we all pretend like we didn't just talk for 5 minutes.
Yes.
It's the
For a
worst.
second time, so good.
But Trevor, you and Randy were on the show a couple months ago. We talked. I think that was before San Diego Comic-Con. So we'll get into that a little bit. But where are you? You are in California, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, yes. I like it. I like Southern California. Are you from there?
Technically it's Burbank. No.
Burbank's nice.
I moved out here a couple of years ago. I'm from Ohio originally.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been in Burbank for like, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 years, I guess.
So have you been to the Death Museum?
No, I haven't been there. Man, that's something I would have definitely done this year, and everything's like shut down now.
Right.
But, that's my girlfriend and I, we used to just travel around. Like there's so much weird crap around LA, like it was just, I don't know. There's a bunny museum that's pretty insane. We've been there a couple times. This woman has her and her husband have this giant collection of like, it's been going on for decades, and they finally opened like their own building, and it's just, there's all kinds of insane stuff you can do out here. And this year it's just been awful because everything's shut down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, we haven't
sitting at home. It's boring.
Yeah, it sucks. We went were just talking about it. We went to the Death Museum last June, and 2 out of 3 of us had a pretty good time.
I worked through it in therapy after my visit. It's really
2 out of the 3 of us walked through it pretty quickly.
Yes.
How was it? What
Dude.
what can you get? What's there?
Yeah.
All of the
I'll let
worst
guys
things
talk
you
about
can
it.
imagine.
Yeah.
Everything.
Jake, give a high level description. Like Jake, if you were like on the marketing team for the Death Museum, how would you explain it to somebody?
It's basically just, all the stuff that you used to go to like rotten.com to see. All of the crime scene photos, all of the stuff about death that nobody cares to know. You will learn all of it in there.
Yeah.
All the gory details.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's intense.
Yeah, like artifacts from serial killers and history of things.
There's some really cool, interesting stuff in there, but then there's some stuff that you gotta have a stomach for.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
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 Maybe
They don't like you
Or
to
you don't have something you don't have to have a stomach for.
Right.
'Cause they,
Yeah. Some of the people just literally don't have stomachs. Yeah, and they've got like the
I can hear the nervousness in Abby's voice when
I know.
she's like,
I'm like, please
"Cool,
don't-
thanks for bringing this up."
Don't talk about the
You gotta
autopsy
relive
video.
all this.
Yes. I literally left when they were talking about it on the episode where we covered it. I was like, I'm gonna
yeah, we did a
walk
bonus Patreon episode covering the Death Museum, and Abby just bailed. So,
Sorry.
anyways, well, we're out of time.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I
dude,
think this
good-
was
good
like
talk.
10 out of 10, 5-star segment. No, Trevor, man, we appreciate you taking some time today to talk. And yeah, we know it's been a crazy year, but I guess we'll just say right off the bat, you guys are killing it. We're toy people. NECA is on fire. And I don't want to get your title wrong, but you are the brand manager for Ninja Turtles, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, you guys are killing it. So I'm sure you know that, but like, I guess maybe my first question for you, we can talk about it, is like, how are you? I know you're busy and you guys are planning and you're sculpting and you're making toys, but like, do you feel like the excitement from the fans and the collectors, or do you feel like the stress from the fans and the collectors? Because I know there was probably some like touch and go moments with some of the pre-orders this year, like, or do you just kind of like stay away from it and do your own thing?
It's I kind of stay off of Instagram a little bit, but it's all of that, especially like before this year, when you go to Toy Fair, you go to Comic-Con, like you do like see the interaction, the excitement with fans, like they come up to the booth and you're showing off prototypes, and it's like that's the big payoff for the year. Like we work really hard to make these figures, and then you get to just physically show them off, in a public space, and everyone, that's great. And then like this year, everything just took a a big turn, So we're trying to adjust. I know it's a challenge, I guess, to be stuck at home. It's the pre-orders, stuff sells out so fast. It's just, I don't know. It's a really crazy kind of spot to be in,
Yeah. I feel like more people are collecting maybe than even before. Because there's quite literally all over the country.
There's nothing to do.
There's a void to fill.
We're making especially with Ninja Turtles, we're making figures that a lot of them have never been made before. And we're making them so specific either to the movie or to the cartoon. So it's stuff that people have always wanted and never had. And now everyone's stuck at home, just ordering stuff online. I've definitely been buying more toys this year because there's there's nothing else to do. You're just sitting at home all day.
Yeah.
I've never been much of a drug guy or a drug addict, but I imagine that it's the exact same thing because it's that rush of the pre-order. I got the 2-pack. I got Triceraton. Now what?
Then you have to wait for it. Buy something
else.
Wait
for the next pick.
Cycle continues.
That's why I like the Army Builder packs because you can just keep going for it. Just go and go. You don't have to stop. So it's been really cool. And you guys are, you're putting out so much stuff and it's literally felt like every other week there's been a new NECA release, whether, obviously you work primarily on Ninja Turtles, but there's been tons of, Back to the Future stuff. And, Target was really overrun. Jake and I have talked about it a lot with all the those last 4 Godzilla releases. It was you just walk into Target one day, it's just oh, there is so much Godzilla shit here.
We do a lot of stuff every year. It seems like there's a new license or something else is getting bigger. It's expanding. There's more Predators, more Aliens. Gremlins is back in a big way. We're doing a lot more Gremlins now. It's all pretty cool, but mainly I'm almost exclusively just kind of on Ninja Turtles all day.
Gotcha.
So
cool.
Not a bad place to be.
Yeah, that's where I want to be.
It's cool. I'm not complaining. I've been a diehard Ninja Turtle fan pretty much my whole life, and to kind of fall into this position, I was just how many years ago was it? I guess when we started, I was NECA. I really got excited about NECA toys when they did the original comic book Ninja Turtle figures. I wasn't working there, but they had announced those Eastman and Laird style Mirage Turtles.
Yep.
Back in 2007 or 8 or I don't know whenever it was, but that really caught my attention. I was like, oh, this is a cool company. No one has ever done this before. Mm-hmm. And then, I was just how do I work here? I gotta figure out how to get a job at this place. They just kept making cooler, every year I would go to Toy Fair or I'd go to San Diego with my portfolio, because I was a sculptor and a toy designer. And it was every year you go to the NECA booth and there's just really there's cooler stuff than the year before. They were making Beetlejuice and some really cool Pirates of the Caribbean figures and all this awesome horror stuff. Every year that place just got better and better. And I was I got to figure out how to work here.
Hey, Jake, I don't know if we've ever talked about this. When did you first know about NECA and buy the figures?
I remember starting to buy NECA stuff probably it was years ago, Toys R Us, you could start finding I have some of that, the Beetlejuice stuff and the Gremlins stuff from when it first started coming out from NECA, I don't know how many years ago it was, but it was just
a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I noticed it because it was the section in Toys R Us that was oh, this is, because it was Aliens and Predator and,
right.
and I'm oh, this is the adult stuff over here,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my first interest, the Ghostbusters stuff in 2004, I was very aware of it. I didn't get any of it though.
That's another one.
Yeah. I remember being well, let me wait let me wait a little while. Let me wait till the actual guys come out. Then I'll start picking them up.
Yeah, and then that never happened. All that stuff was just gone. You couldn't find the terror dogs or
no.
Yeah, that's another perfect example of like, here's this company that's kind of out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden they're making terror dogs and Gozer and this awesome like Slimer figure. It's like, yeah, that was another one that was very much like everything they're doing is like, it really is speaking to me as like a fan and a collector and all that.
Right.
I love that you had that feeling because we all did too. And like you said that you were like, I'm just going to get a job there. I think we all wanted that too.
Yeah, but the problem is though, is you're a toy sculptor and I'm like, oh, I want to work at NECA. What do you do? Like, oh, I just want to work there. I want to work there. No, I wanted to ask like, what did you
even that I barely was a sculptor. Like when I had my portfolio that I sent to Randy, like it was a bunch of cartoons and like puppets and stuff that I had made. Like nothing was like applicable to what they were doing. Like I wasn't a McFarlane sculptor. I couldn't do like really like hyper realistic. Like I couldn't do I don't know why Randy hired me to be honest, because all I could do is like I was seriously, it made no sense. But yeah, I was happy he did. It took a while. I had to,
Yeah.
Hey, we're happy too.
I was persistent.
Next week, I'm going to get Randy on and be like, why'd you hire Trevor, dude? What were you thinking?
Like he's like, I really like puppets.
Yeah. He's like, I love puppets. So what year? So when did you start at NECA though? Like kind of going back though, was this like 2010 or something?
I started. It was 2010, and so I started there. Some of the first stuff I worked on was like some of the when they went back in and started doing more like Gremlins 2 figures.
Oh yeah.
Like I'd worked on like George and Daffy and Lenny and like some of those Gremlins, and then like Freddy Krueger stuff. I would just do a lot of the stuff. One figure could be sculpted by like 3 or 4 different sculptors. So like I might have I was working on shoes and maybe part of the glove. You worked on a hat or an arm, and like you kind of split up a figure amongst like all the other sculptors.
Okay, right.
So I kind of started out doing that stuff, but that was in the fall of 2010.
I remember that time. Like I would go to Toys R Us all the time, and like when that electricity gremlin, there was always like 4 or 5 of them at Toys R Us. And I always, it would again, like, I don't know if you do this as a toy collector, but like me and Jake, we talk about this all the time where it's like, you want something, but for some reason you just don't get it. Like you keep convincing yourself to not buy it. And then it's just gone and you're like beating yourself up.
Self-sabotage.
So I never had that electricity gremlin, but, that I remember that was kind of a game changer. Like Jake was saying, like going to Toys R Us and seeing all those Gremlins figures. That's cool that you worked on that.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun. Like, my friend Tom, I think, worked on the electricity one, but even the fact that we made that figure was so cool and weird. And, like we were all sitting in a room together, like kicking around ideas. And it's like, you just kind of pitch stuff to Randy and maybe he'll go for it, maybe not. And like, I remember just thinking we were, you take it like kind of frame by frame with the movie and take some screenshots and like trace out find a good image of like the electricity gremlin, and like print some stuff out and
position.
It was just cool. Like we were going to get to do that, and it's like, Randy's like, yeah, that'd make an awesome figure. Like it's fun. It displays well on the shelf with with all the other characters. Like you guys did that interview with Scott Knightlick, from Mattel, like Toy Guru.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was talking about like you get kind of deep into a line, and like I love what he said about how like the company, like we owe you like a complete shelf, like a good display. Like I love how he said that on his interview with you guys, and I never thought about it before, but it's definitely true. Like you want to make sure you get like at least a solid shelf of figures that display well together. They look good. It's all complete.
Yeah, like the end product and the displayability of it.
Yeah, and I think it's tough too because like collectors. I mean, we're all collectors, so I sometimes I feel like I'm talking about myself, but like we and Trevor, I know you're a collector too. So we it feels weird sometimes being like, they owe us this, like because they don't, like the company never actually owes the consumer something, but it's still like, you know, you're a consumer and you like if you guys, you know, only put out 3 of the 4 Ninja Turtles, like I wouldn't want to be like, well, they owe us Leonardo, but I'd be like, I'd really like them to give us Leonardo so I could have all 4 of them.
But we absolutely do owe you all 4, you know, it's like,
right.
Yeah, like that's there is it is kind of a gray area where it's like, and that's just collecting, you know, like we'll announce a figure and then immediately you're like, who's next, like who's coming out, like even like with Back to the Future and any new thing that we're putting out, it's like it's great to get these figures, but now you just want to know like who's coming out next, like,
right.
what is there now to look forward to? So it's like,
right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, because I think it's like when they announce Back to the Future, it's like, okay, there's going to be NECA Back to the Future figures. Like, well, you know, you're going to get Marty and Doc, but then you start going, it's almost like you're pushing your luck a little bit. Because I know that's what it's like with Ninja Turtles, when you got the 4 movie figures, and it's like, well, we're going to get Shredder and Splinter. Oh, well, are we going to get, you know, we're not going to get April and Casey.
Yeah, April, Casey. Yeah.
But then it just keeps going and going.
I feel like that's a testament to
and
the
luckily with Turtles,
no, go for it, Trevor.
Go for it. You're good.
Oh, no. I was just gonna, like with Turtles, it's so diverse. There's so many characters that it luckily it can keep going. We can go pretty deep, and they've been interpreted so many ways, like with the comics, the cartoon, the video games. You know, there's just so much you can do with all of them. And like really before we started going crazy with it, like, other than the Playmates figures, you really didn't get, like, you know, there's a company that would put out like the 4 Turtles and then just stop.
Right.
You know, like the Revoltech figures never got to any of the other, you know, there's no Foot Soldiers, no Shredder, no other villains or Splinter or anyone else. And the Bandai figures is the same deal, just like the 4 Turtles. They'd announced Shredder, and it, you know, there's a bunch of other companies that would just kind of stop after doing the Turtles. So It's kind of cool to, you know, we put out like multiple Slash figures and Leatherhead, and we've got Rat King coming out soon.
That Rat King looks awesome.
Triceratons. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like when we started working on this stuff, I was hopeful like maybe someday we'd get to do like a Rat King figure, but it didn't seem like possible a couple of years ago.
But is it stressful though? Because now it feels like, you know, let's just focusing on the animated line for a second. It's what, 35, 40 figures deep, but now it feels like the table is kind of set where there's now an expectation like, well, this now has to go on for the next 10 years. We need 500 figures. Like you need to get like, but time goes by so fast that, you know, maybe we'll get there.
We'll get those new versions of the Troll Turtles.
Yeah, right. Just like getting super weird with it,
like the fur, like the hair and stuff.
Yeah. With the soft, good hair.
Let me braid it.
So one thing, but I want to come back to Turtles, but this is a conversation Jake and I have all the time, and Jake, you can speak on it more than I can. So, like how, you know how the old, Gremlins figures and the original Godzilla releases were kind of in like that perforated plastic case that like you kind of had to destroy to open, but at some point it kind of moved to the more ultimate packaging. Trevor, my question for you is, does Jake as a Godzilla collector have to rebuy all of the ultimate Godzillas, even though he already owns them in package? Because I've been trying to convince him that he does, like if he's a real fan.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, good. I just wanted to get that out.
Good.
Fine.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I love the ultimate packaging. It's like, if you guys could get to a point where like you did an ultimate, like if you were able to do the individual movie Turtles as ultimates with a bunch of extra accessories and weapons, like, of course, like some people would complain, but everybody would buy them immediately. So it's like kind of an awesome situation to be in.
Yeah, that would be cool to do, like some ultimates of those guys, because you could, you know, that's the thing with these like puppet characters, really anything. There's so many different expressions you can do, because the Turtles are like kind of equally like they're badass ninjas. So you want them to be all tough and aggressive and put them in cool like fight poses, but then they're all happy, like joking around eating pizza. So you want them in those kind of
poses, right?
Poses
Yeah.
too. So
Sure.
and it's, the 7-inch figures, you can't, it's not, there's no way you could do really articulated mouths we did that on those tour turtles, I guess. But it would be cool to do like the Ultimate figures, just load them up with like new weapons and, stacks of pizza. And
there's a million things you could like, but yeah,
it's endless. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, before we had you guys on before Comic-Con, and like I don't know why it happened, but like so you guys ended up releasing the Coming Out of Their Shells tour Turtles as the Comic-Con exclusive, and or I should say the musical mutagen tour Turtles. And those were like, I mean, if you go back into, we've been podcasting for 5 years. There's probably 100 times where we fantasized about that happening. Like
speculated.
Like,
well, you guys had the song in your intro.
Yeah, for a long time. And then I was like, I got paranoid that like, I was like, we're going to get sued. But I don't even know who owns the rights to that specific music or whatever.
Probably nobody.
Yeah.
Probably us at this point.
We should.
We own it. And that's why we're on with Trevor. We are suing NECA for the release of the Coming Out of Their Shells. No. So, but like,
it was a setup.
It was all set up. But like Jake, we probably talked a million times about like how amazing would it be if they did those turtles, and the conversation would always end with, "That's never going to happen. That's ridiculous." But Trevor, I guess my question is like, about a month beforehand, it kind of started feeling like people had just convinced themselves that that's what it was going to be, and I can't figure out why. What happened that like collectively the collector world went, I bet it's the Coming Out of Their Shells tour Turtles. It has to be, because I remember even I was saying that, and then in bed at night I'd be like, Craig, you're wrong. Stop saying that. So what did you guys think about everyone kind of calling it?
It was fascinating because I thought we had kept everything pretty hush hush. There wasn't, outside of the studio, I don't think there was too many people that knew we were making them. I know like Randy had dropped a couple big hints, like on maybe with Pixel Dan and with Matt Cardona, like Zack Ryder, on interviews he had done with them. So I think more and more people started assuming like, it could be that. But yeah, like you guys said too, like that was one that I never in a million years thought we would do. And even just like trying to suggest that or pitch it to Randy, I was like, there's no way he'd say yes to it. And then what actually happened was Randy had suggested it to me. He was like, what do you think if we did, Coming Out of the Shells tour? Is that too crazy? And I was like, dude, that would be perfect. Cause we've done all the kick-ass like movie stuff, like the first movie is awesome. Like this is, and those figures came out before the anniversary. So anytime we get to do like an anniversary set for anything, it's always good, for sales and just to market it. Like this is, the 30th anniversary or whatever. We had already done that with the 1990 movie figures. So it was like, there wasn't anything else to do from that. And yeah, like Turtles is so versatile. Like you can have all that kick-ass, like cool shit. And then they also, in the same year, they did like the most insane, like the goofiest thing imaginable with that music tour. So it's like, it can be either, really dark and serious, or it can be really campy. It can be both. It's something in between. So yeah, the fact that Randy like asked me, like, do you think this is too nuts? I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, dude, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe we were doing it, and then it was like, and then once again, it was like, I can't wait to sculpt like the tennis shoes,
right?
That like that the guys wore on stage, because like, they had like turtle boots and they were too uncomfortable or something. Yeah. So it was like, the longer the tour went on, like, they took the shells off and they just had like the vests, and it just got, I just couldn't wait to sculpt like a Ninja Turtle with tennis shoes.
Yeah.
So it was,
makes no sense. By the end of the tour, they're just wearing like
great.
khaki shorts and like tennis polos.
Paint their arms green. Just, they're wearing the mask and nothing else.
They're like Times Square turtles.
Just wearing shorts and a vest.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is crazy, but like I went to that tour and I feel like YouTube in the past 5-10 years, like there's some stuff that probably, if it happened in like, the 60s or something, would have just been lost to history. But like, it feels like even people who weren't alive there, like they know about it, they experienced, like they've gone back and watched the but like the funny thing is, Jake, like we talk about it like, we don't talk about it like it's kitschy. Like we'll have conversations about how like, no, like
it's Woodstock.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a momentous
event. We've been, I mean, I don't know if we've ever talked about this publicly, but like Jake's gonna kill me for this one. Jake has his own recorded version of the acoustic track.
And it's so good.
Of coming out of their shells.
Yeah. Well, like there was a point where we were like going all in on it, and we were gonna maybe try to do a music video, and I completely recorded a cover version of the Coming Out of Their Shell song. And it's just, we did an episode where we like reviewed the like making of the tour. Yeah. It's just great.
Dude, it's just part of our lives.
Wow. Wait, so you were playing the music? Like you recorded yourself playing the music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the acoustic version. So it's just the guitar, but like I just did the whole song.
We might need to throw it on the end of this episode.
Like MTV Unplugged.
Yeah, it is.
Throw it on.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Jake
like that.
Oh, dude,
it was like
pretty badass.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, because like we had talked about like
it was never completed. It's not like a finish.
It's raw, but that's what makes it better.
The basement's
It's never been finished, but it's somehow better quality than the actual one.
We'll send it to you. Because I haven't heard it in a long time. We're gonna send it to you. It's funny. We're pretty ambitious. Like usually they have to talk me down from my ideas because like we're podcasters. But like I had this idea like 2-3 years ago that I was gonna try to obtain the rights to that record and like press it on vinyl as a limited release. And I did a little bit of research, and some people own it. I don't think Nickelodeon actually owns the rights to the music. But you know what?
That's I think why we had to do the music. Why we had to change the name.
Right. So,
we also like, I don't know how much there is to say about this, but like, Craig, this is more something for you, but like we got in touch with the people who own those outfits.
Yeah, there's
and at some point we were kind of kicking around like we wanted to do something with them, some sort of video or something. Like we were in touch.
Well, they take them on tour, right?
Yeah, they were at Dragon
There's
Con.
some people in Ohio.
Yep, the dude from Ohio. Yeah. They It was crazy. So like at Dragon Con last year, we did our first time we had a Yes Have Some panel at Dragon Con, and we didn't know it, but those dudes were in the Dragon Con parade, like doing 3 of the songs. They had a big PA, and we missed the parade because we were doing our panel, and we're normally in the parade dressed as Ghostbusters. And literally I was so sad. I was like,
first it was like, dude, did you hear there were people that were dressed up as that? Then it was like, did you hear it was the real costumes? Really
was it last year or was it the year before? Because I feel like we saw them. I feel like I saw them and been like, and I remember being like, well, those were really good. And then it was like later on, that we found out it was the actual one.
Found out that they're the real ones. Yeah. It's cool that like you guys finally like you get your own panel at Dragon Con, and then you're like, holy shit! Like we missed the Coming Out of the Shells tour.
Yeah.
Like,
finally,
that's
live.
So, like that's more important. Like
it is more important. My idea was
huge accomplishment. Like
moving forward, we've requested to not have a panel during the parade for that reason,
or at all. I'm not even going to Dragon Con.
We don't want to
have it at night or something. Like do it. Yeah,
I can't miss that.
You got to schedule it better next time.
I did reach out to the guy. Like my plan was like it would be cool to do like a mockumentary like reunion concert.
What we all
like
collectively thought was we should have these. Why are they not ours?
Well, yeah, that was my other thing. I was like, why don't I own these? They got them all out of like a storage unit. It's crazy. Anyways, we'll see what happens. TBD. I've talked to the guy. He seems really nice, but he seems more interested in just like raising money for kids charities. And I can't relate to that on any level. No, I'm just kidding. No,
yeah, the Ghostbusters don't do that at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. No. They're doing really good work, but the costumes do look awesome. But anyway, so all that to say, that's amazing that those happened this year. It feels like it was 5 years ago already, but it was just a couple months ago. But that was a lot of fun.
That's true.
Hunting those down. And I actually was able to get one when they went on sale online. I was like the only person I knew. They accused me of being a bot.
But you identified a stop sign.
I did. So let's Trevor, what besides NECA, like what do you collect? Like what does your toy hobbyist side look like these days?
Oh man, there's a ton of stuff. There's kind of the Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series. Like I collect a lot of that stuff. I've got a fair amount of old vintage toys. I've got a lot of old He-Man and Thundercat stuff.
Oh, cool.
I've got, looking around my room here, what else do I have? So I have Black Star figures just sitting around. There's like old Playmates, like Ninja Turtle figures. I really like Calico critters. I collect Calico critters.
What is that? I have no idea what that is.
They're like those little furry, like cute looking animals that, they used to have their own section at Toys R Us, and now there's.
I know exactly what they are.
But they're like they're like little flocked, like cutesy little. They like the best description, and the reason I think I like them so much is they remind me of like Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. Like they look like they belong in that world,
Got it.
And they've been around since the 80s, but there's a million of those, and they have their own vehicles and houses, and there's just so many of them to collect. But for some reason, I really, really like those figures.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I've got a lot of Calico critters.
I want to see that
collection next to like Leatherface and Michael Myers. And it's all mixed. It's all mixed together.
Gotta have a balance.
Jake, do you have any Calico critters?
Yeah,
I don't.
I'll send you a couple because I've got some doubles.
I want to get into
it. They're really
we all collect it now.
Yeah.
They're super cute. Like, like I'll when I used to go to Jersey to the main office, and when I worked at DC Comics for a little bit, and anytime I'd bring them in, people are like, "You can't seriously like these things," and I'd bring them in and show them to people, or they just thought I had like a daughter, like I had like a 3-year-old kid or something, But I was like, dude, they're mine. Like I think they're awesome, and I would hand one to somebody, and within like a minute, you could see like all of a sudden it's sort of like they're holding it in their hand. That you can see in their eyes, it just kind of clicks. And they get like hypnotized by the Calico critters, and they're like, oh, I get it now. Like these are pretty. Wow, these are great. So
they look like Animal Crossing characters. They're so
cool.
Cute.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I love that. You should next time you go back to the office, like when you can travel and stuff, like you should just like as a joke, just get some, I don't know, some other stupid toy that you actually don't like at all, and just try to convince people like, no, I got really into these during this year.
Hatchimals.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really into Hatchimals now.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Like Calico critters.
Bring back some popples or something. I have some glowworms too, some little vinyl.
Glowworms.
That was my favorite thing at, like maybe it's probably the same at like Dragon Con. Like in San Diego, the half of the floor space is all the dealers and like old vintage toys, and just like there's guys that just have like these booths of like just all kinds of weird random stuff. So there's like Happy Meal toys, and I just love just rifling through those bins and just finding like a Mayor McCheese or like just any kind of old weird there's like some Rice Krispie toys that I found, like they're like these wooden things like from the 60s or 70s, I think, but I just love finding like these weird little treasures,
Yeah. I mean, we love stuff.
But there's some glowworms.
There's nothing better than going to a toy show and just like kind of either seeing something for the first time or like kind of reclaiming a piece of your childhood that was lost. Like that's what it's really all about. And I think that's why, like, I think that's the appeal of like what you guys are doing, like specifically like with the Ninja Turtles line, is that like you're doing a line of, you know, love or hate the Playmates original line, which most people love, but like most of the,
I love them.
yeah, I mean, they're incredible, but most of the figures didn't look like the characters from the show. And some of them were just like made up and stuff like that. So you guys are really like leaning into like being able to give us like all these characters, like in a realistic form that we just never got. So it's kind of like, I think that's why there's so much appeal there. And I think that's why like it appeals to like even just beyond toy collectors. Like if you're just a dude walking through Walmart and seeing it, not even knowing it exists, like that's got to be like, I don't know. It's like there's like a bonus audience that just goes beyond the collector market. I think. I could be dead wrong, by the way. We have market research says Craig is dead wrong.
Sounds right. I mean, I think that's kind of what we're trying to do. And even, you know, with the, you know, some of the ultimate turtle figures that we're doing now, like the cartoon ones, we put them in a box that mimics the old VHS tapes, you know, it's like the Greg Martin artwork, you know, so like Metalhead and Krang, and there's going to be a foot soldier, an ultimate foot soldier. Coming out. Those are the first 3 that we've announced, and there's more planned next year. But yeah, my friend Dan Elson, who also is like obsessed with Ninja Turtles. He's this incredible illustrator and painter, and he works in animation primarily. But he's, you know, he's so good. Like I'll give him just a very basic layout. Sometimes not even that. I'll just tell him like, I'm thinking of something like this, and I'll show him one of the old turtle like VHS tapes, and he's like, okay, I got it. And then he'll sketch something out, and then, you know, like there were people that like had messaged me and thought that the Metalhead box art, like they thought it was like a forgotten tape, you know, like it was, like it looked so authentic that they thought it was like one of the actual VHS covers that we had like dug up or found from like an archive or whatever. But you know, it's fun to like trick people, you know, into thinking it's like a legit, you know, like
original
80s.
Yeah. Well, the cover,
like it's an original thing.
The Metalhead. I've been kind of in my head putting together a list of my favorite figures of the year, because I'm going to do my own little award show, just probably for myself. And that Metalhead, like that's packaging of the year to me. Like it's really, I mean, the figure obviously is also a top 5 candidate for figure of the year for my award show.
The packaging is cool though. Like we try to do, you know, we put the cartoon turtles in that carrying case a couple years ago, and the arcade figures, like we made the box, you know, match the arcade cabinet, you know, with all the, you know, like we try to really go all out with, you know, the whole thing from top to bottom. Like Chris Ramos, our main package designer. And yeah, he does like an amazing job with it's the whole team of people really is like everyone just is, you know, very passionate about this stuff. And, yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoy it too.
Oh my God. Can you like, it's literally when I tell people don't realize, like when we get off the podcast, like me and Jake immediately hop on the phone and we literally talk about all this stuff. Like we should really be recording every moment of our life because it would just be good content. I think, but Jake, like, you originally were collecting the 1/4 scale turtles only, and I finally had to convince you to move to the smaller scale.
Yeah, well, you know, I started with the bigger they look amazing. You know, they look so good, and that's such a like, man, just having those big turtles, it's like that's something you never think you're gonna get. And I was, you know, originally like, you know what, I don't think I need to also get the smaller ones. I just wasn't going to do it. And then I got behind on it. And then, you know, you convinced me, Craig, and I bought, you know, and it was also partly going to Toy Fair last year because we got to Toy Fair and one of the first things we see is like, oh, there's a Super Shredder and there's a Toka and Razar coming out. And like Ninja Turtles 2 has just, it's like, it's sort of the same deal with me as like Ghostbusters 2. It's like, I think the first movies are better, but I probably watched part 2 of both more. And I was like, well, I have to get those. And then Craig, you're like, well, then you got to get the other guy. You know, it's just like, and it just snowballed. You know? So
I'm really bad about that. Like I convince people to buy things that they're not going to buy. Like I just because it's like I
think that's the point of our podcast.
No, but
you're
like
an influencer.
I know, but like I messaged Matt, like I was talking to Matt Cardona today, and I was like, "Hey, you got to buy that Razor Crest," and he was like, "Well, I don't collect vintage collections." Like, I don't care, you need it. Like, you just got to buy it. And he's like, "Fuck, do I need it?" I was like, "Yeah, you need to buy this thing." So we'll see if that happens.
I think it's a gift.
Because like,
yeah, that's a cool power to have.
Yeah.
I should use it for good. I should be like,
I think you are.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't care about who you vote for. I just need you to buy some toys. No, but
the turtle collecting is like, it's just a big. There's like we've been saying, there's just so much, and even if you want to try to, so like I don't really like actively collect the like animated stuff, but I do have the 4 turtles, and then I got the movie turtles, and I'm like, oh wait, well now I got the animated turtles, the movie turtles. I guess I need to make sure I get every version of the 4 turtles I can. Right. And then when the Super Shredder came in, I was like, oh, I guess I need to go rebuy the original Super Shredder. And it's just like, you can't be content until you have all of it, I think.
Right. And like
it's a slippery slope. Most of us don't have the self-control to just be like, these 4 turtles, and that's like
exactly
right. Yeah, if you just get the 4 like, I'm like, are you even a collector? Like, what are you? Like, are you just some sort of like
I have one shelf that is only the 4 turtles in just about every iteration. Like, there's the Bandai turtles, the Revoltech turtles.
Those are good looking.
The original like NECA ones, the DC like Batman versus Turtles, the black and white comics turtles, the battle shell, like where the vintage ones where the shells open up.
Oh yeah.
It's like I have an entire shelf that's only Ninja Turtles because there's so many of them. You know.
You know, it's funny. Like I kind of no, it's great.
Impressive.
I screwed up because like, remember a couple years ago, Jake, we've talked about these ones a lot. When Playmates put out the TMNT 2 turtles, they look pretty good. They're like, okay, but the packaging is really cool.
Turtles.
Yeah. Like I started buying the Rise of the TMNT figures last year because I wanted to do the pizza points and cash them in to get those 4 because they were offering as one of the pizza point prizes. And then I forgot. I never cashed in my points, and they all expired.
Dude, I have 2 of the 4.
No.
You do? Oh, you don't have the other 2?
No. Like, I remember I bought 2 of them and just never bought. Bought the other 2.
That was stressing me out.
You weren't motivated by pizza points?
You should literally throw those away because just having 2
get rid of them. They're worthless. They're just
try to cash them in at like Domino's or something.
They annoy
me. Like, I've got pizza points. Just call every pizza place. Like,
I'm gonna show up now that Pizza Hut went back to their old logo. I'm gonna be like, hey, I have my pizza points. So what do we do here? Is it like, do I have to sign something? You got a hole punch card? What do I do?
Where do I pick out my pizza?
Well, like, not that I want to talk about another company at all, but like, you know, Super 7 is doing the TMNT figures, and I had drawn a battle line, right? I said, I literally was like, I only collect NECA. I love NECA. I am dedicated to those turtles only. I am not going to support this other company who got the license and literally went behind NECA. I made this whole thing in my head, and then I listened to that Brian Flynn. I made up this or I didn't make it up. I actually listened to the Brian Flynn from Super 7 interview, and he was like, oh yeah, me and Randy are friends. We kind of have a gentleman's agreement that like we're going to do our thing and they'll do theirs and we won't cross paths. And I was immediately like, go to Super 7, got to buy these 2. Like, I made up this whole feud in my head.
You needed that permission.
I did. I needed permission.
Yeah. Turns out they get along.
They're Super 7's a cool company. I've collected I was really excited when they took over the He-Man license.
Yeah.
You know, and they continued on with the Filmation stuff.
Yep.
And, it is like there's a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff out there. You know.
Yep.
But they're gonna do like crazy cool figures that we can't do. Like I can't wait for them to get to like Pizza Face or Half-Court was one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Playmates figures when I was a kid because he's just this weird giraffe playing basketball for some reason. And like their version of the Playmates toy of Napoleon Bonafrog is so different from the cartoon. There's Monty Moose and Dr. L and Ray Fillet. There's all these characters that they could do such a kick-ass job with, like the Horseman sculpting them.
Right.
I've met Brian a bunch of times, like at shows, and I know him and Randy are friends, and Randy and the Horsemen go way back. Like everybody we're all friends. I think the feud, I don't know. That seems like something it is kind of created by, fans or just like online or something. Because I know
it's created by Craig.
We're all pretty friendly with each other.
Yeah, but seriously, I just told you, I made that whole. It's like the Marvel DC thing. Like when James Gunn went to direct Suicide Squad, people are like, "What? What about the feud? Like there isn't one, idiots." But there's so much turtle stuff. So, Token Razar. That I guess I should ask you, the more business side of things, like. You guys did these pre-orders on the NECA site to kind of use it as a test run to see is this a viable option? So you did the animated diorama, the accessory set, Token Razar. So, I mean, without going into too much detail, did that stuff do well enough for you guys to where it's going to open up the doors to even more cool shit down the line?
It was successful. Yes.
Cool. Good. Yeah. So, good.
Yeah. And honestly, I do almost nothing with that stuff. I am strictly involved with sculpting, painting, art direction, all the development of the figures. And when it comes to selling the stuff and distribution, I have
out of it.
Zero involvement in that.
Yeah.
But, it was doing the pre-orders and doing everything online. It was definitely, it was successful. So there's going to be more of that.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for Token Razar. And I think it opens up that door to Secret of the Ooze, like Jake was saying. And then face it, you guys are going to be making TMNT 3 figures eventually. It's just going to happen. We can announce it today. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter if Randy doesn't like it. The fans demand it. Jake wants it. Abby wants it.
I do. I figured Comic-Con exclusive next year would be the 4-pack of the TMNT 3.
Yep.
Dude, I want that lantern stick.
I'll tell you what though, I'd have to tell you
that thing's cool.
Dumb and cool.
My dream figure, and you guys probably never actually make this, but my actual dream NECA TMNT figure is if you were to get the likeness rights for Ernie Reyes, obviously you would be doing a Kino figure, but my actual dream figure is him in the turtle suit without the head on.
Yeah, unmasked Donatello.
Right. Yeah.
Because
that's cool.
That is the first time I saw that.
That's an iconic photo.
It is an iconic photo, and I need it. I just need it. That's all I'm gonna say. Then I could do a Surf Ninjas custom figure because I don't think they're making Surf Ninjas figures anytime soon. So,
not that we know.
By the way, before we get into wrapping up and calling it right, do you know something I don't know?
No, I just sounds like
Abby's teasing.
Sometimes you pitch stuff to Randy, and
Oh yeah, Randy, listen, Rob Schneider, Game Gear, Surf Ninjas. Let's do it. Let's talk about Ghostbusters. Trevor, you're actually a secretly giant Ghostbusters fan who builds packs and is more I remember one time I was trying to mansplain you the Proton Pack community and GB fans. You were like, yeah, I know. I was like, okay, cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm a huge Ghostbusters and then just like Turtles, lifelong Ghostbusters fan.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what how are you feeling about Ghostbusters these days? As far as toys and stuff go, were you pretty stoked on the Plasma series stuff?
Yeah, I've gotten really obsessed with those too. They're good figures and they're fun to customize and I got the full set of them, and the first thing I did was just make cigarettes for all of them because you probably can't include those as accessories with a Hasbro toy, but
right.
like that first movie, all they're doing is just smoking.
They're smoking the whole time.
The entire time.
Even in jail.
The whole time, you know.
I love that there's a kids movie where the four main characters are in jail smoking.
Even in Ninja Turtles, when I don't smoke, but in Ninja Turtles, when they first go to the Foot Clan, like the secret hideout, there's like a 10-year-old playing pool, like smoking a giant cigar. Yeah, and it's just like they could never do that these days. You know,
no, I think there's a lot
like these kids movies, and you know,
there's a lot of
crazy.
There's a ton of problematic stuff about the Foot Clan and their lair in general. Like, let's face it, it's borderline
human trafficking
at this point. Like, there's some fucked up stuff going on.
Yeah, like, not to mention that half
really
of them aren't
actual
actual ninjas.
Yeah, none of those kids are ninjas. Jake, we talk about that. Like, what? Like, those kids show
music.
Like, you can't. These are like white belts at karate school, and they're like, get them in the Foot Clan lair. Let's have them steal some radios. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's just all the riffraff like around New York City.
Yes. Those teenagers, Danny in his punk rock shirt. Danny's awesome. Danny rules. Let's not like that dude's just stealing 20s from people's purses like it's nothing.
It's Dan now. It's just Dan. Oh, okay. Good.
But so Plasma Series is cool. I don't know. As much as I want Hasbro to do like detailed real Ghostbusters figures, I just don't think it's going to happen. So we need to push for NECA to do a line of like
to do real Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Not the Kenner stuff.
Oh man, I would love that.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, like basically like what we're doing with the Turtles cartoon. Like do that with real Ghostbusters. Like make them that. That would be. Yeah, that would definitely be like a holy grail, like dream project.
Right.
Doing all those weird ghosts, and there's so much stuff on that show that they would really make great figures.
I agree. And I think like as the fan community and the Ghostbusters collectors community, like I think we all know that. Like there's a treasure. Like I think that appeals to just like general 80s audience. Like I think that would go well beyond just like the hardcore Ghostbusters collector, and I think people would be real. I mean, even Diamond Select did the kind of realistic real Ghostbusters figures, and those things like sold out immediately. I think people are hungry for that, but they just never. Yeah, I just think they're more invested in the film property and trying to get that off the ground. So like, I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
I hope it does because the colors and designs from RGB are like so iconic.
They've never made any of those ghosts. There's never been like a Boogeyman figure.
It's travesty.
Yeah, someone just that BAM toy company. Someone just posted pictures on Instagram.
Yep.
Like, you know, it's and that's sometimes how a lot of stuff starts. Is like, you know, there's nothing. No companies are making these figures, so like fans are doing it themselves, and then that sort of gets the attention of, like, oh shit, maybe there's an audience, or there's like a customer base for this stuff, and that kind of can kind of whip people into shape sometimes.
Yeah,
but
I would love that.
That's one for sure. I would love to work on real Ghostbusters stuff. Oh man, that cartoon was so like creepy and weird and cool. It's I don't know. Yeah, it's great. That would be, and they are just like screaming to be like, they just would be the perfect action figures.
Right. Yeah. Well, the original Kenner line, similar to like some of the Playmates Ninja Turtle stuff, is like, it's just kind of its own thing. Like it's all, none of it's really, none of it derives from the show besides maybe like the first series. And then it's just kind of like and I love those.
Tombstone Tackle,
and then there's all the weird suits and all the, all the variant Ghostbusters, like, all the weird gizmos and contraptions and stuff they had.
And I love it. I love the line. It's very nostalgic, but like a proper full-fledged real Ghostbusters line is I think what
you do, like a holiday set, like where they're like that, where like they go through a portal or back in time to like the Charles Dickens novel, like they do like a Christmas Carol thing.
Dude, that noise I just made, I'm excited about
what was that?
I don't know.
You made a weird noise.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
No, I mean there's a
that would be cool.
We could, go for it.
Oh, like there's that one, like Egon's got to go into the containment unit in one episode. He's wearing that big space suit thing.
Yes. Also, there's plenty.
Trying to think of like just weird, cool stuff like you can do from that show.
I mean, any
Venkman's
episode where they show them when they're asleep and they got their little sleep hats on, like I want those figures.
Yeah, the nightcap.
Yeah, the nightcap, sleeping Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
There's like literally, like I think that is a lot, and that's what people wanted. Like when Matty Collector was doing Ghostbusters and they were doing the Motu classics with the updated versions of the original figures, like people wanted like that for Ghostbusters, and like I just think Ghostbusters is a weird property where like I just don't think it's quite as big as all the other stuff. Like, I mean, go to the store right now, like there's plenty of plasma series available versus
Oh man, I saw cases of them yesterday at the store. I really and Ghostbusters is so weird because it's like it's had such a huge like I never thought it went out of style, but it's had such a big resurgence in the last couple years. It's obviously, outside of toys, like there's just never ending like t-shirts and all types of merchandise. But I don't know, maybe it is like it's Thundercats is the same deal. Like it's like not as big a group of collectors as like He-Man, and like no one can compete with like Marvel or Star Wars with that base, so
right.
With Ghostbusters being at Hasbro, it's like it's definitely, I don't know, it's probably going to be an uphill battle because like competing just within the company with, and I can only speculate, I don't know, but it's when you're also making Star Wars and Marvel figures.
Yep. And Power Rangers. Like, Power Rangers is huge.
And that's the other huge one right now is like, those are probably like the main focus. I really hope the plasma series continues. I hope they get out like a 1/12 scale Ecto-1 and
I think like
the plasma series is awesome. I love it.
I think it's I think Ghostbusters more than a lot of properties is really its success beyond the hardcore collectors is really rooted in the media. Like it needs a movie to exist, right? So like
big breath of air,
I kind of think like all those plasma series figures got shipped this year with the expectations of the movie hitting in July, and that kind of reigniting that into people's consciousness. And it just because like there are other brand, like you can't find the G.I. Joe figures anywhere, and like Marvel Legends, Black Series, like that stuff is all, those are big sellers. So
the G.I. Joe, that's another community that's been like desperately waiting for like 6-inch figures, and it finally got them, but it's been, people have been waiting for those for forever.
Right. That community is insane.
So, I don't know.
I don't know if we don't have to do it. Like literally, I've never seen collectors like this. It's a different level of like good and bad crazy. It's a lot of, it's very stressful dealing with that whole community. But
it's intense, man. It's intense. Yeah.
Before we wrap up, let's talk a little bit of horror. Because I know that's Jake's main bag as far as collecting goes, and horror and monsters. And we didn't really get into it last time, but Jake, I know you picked up the new Godzilla stuff and the NECA King Kong. So let's talk about that King Kong figure, because I don't think we've gone into too much detail about it.
No, yeah, I really like that figure. It's very cool that it's like it's kind of like a generic King Kong, but it has two different head sculpts, and one of them is like the 1933. I like that figure a lot.
Cool. Yeah, I still need to pick one of those up. I know I saw it. It is very cool. I know Kyle Windrix was the sculptor that did it, and he had told me one time on the phone that like Kong was one of his, the original movie was one of his favorites or something. So getting to work on that was another dream come true. Like Kyle's done like so many of the Predators and the Aliens and all of this kick-ass stuff. But when I guess it was when I was back in New Jersey for Toy Fair, and there was just like this Kong sculpt like sitting on the shelf, like mixed in with all the other stuff. That caught my eye, and I was like, holy crap, like we're making this, like we're making King Kong, like this is awesome. So
that'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, like there's also
a cool figure.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like there's probably not as big as a market, but I dream of like a similar thing that you guys did with the Godzilla, where you're putting out all the different suits, from the different films. I mean, there's the 1933 King Kong, there's the 86, there's King Kong Lives, there's there's been probably about 10 different versions of King Kong, and it would be very cool to have all of those, but I don't think a lot of people are out there being like, I need a King Kong Lives figure.
I want it for you.
You never know until you try, I guess.
True.
Yeah. Well, that's what we love about NECA. Like, you guys are, like Trevor, you said you primarily work on TMNT, but I mean, the Back to the Future stuff's amazing.
Waiting on that Leprechaun.
When's that going to happen?
Leprechaun. That's interesting. I don't know if that would be real cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if. Huh.
I mean, you save on tooling already.
Yeah.
All the gold coins.
Yeah. No, I mean, that you guys are killing it. And then, like, obviously you got the Jaws stuff still to come. It's just been a crazy year, but like, I don't know. It's just cool. Like, I love that before you came on, we talked about how, like, we made up this whole backstory about how you're like living your dream and doing what you love. And then I was like, what if it's not his dream? What if he actually hates making toys and he wanted to be an astronaut? But it feels like you're probably doing what you want to do, which is really cool.
Yeah, I am. It's I'm very lucky to have, like I said at the beginning, like I was just, my portfolio, it was like cartoons and puppets and stuff. So to be here 10 years later, still making all these things, it is awesome. Yeah, I'm very, and with everything that's going on this year, it's like, being able to work from home and, we've been just as busy this year as any other year. So it's like our work hasn't slowed down at all. So I'm extremely fortunate, like on many fronts, I'm very grateful to be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to do anything else. Like I just, when I was in high school, I worked at a pizza place, and the only other jobs I've ever had are just like I don't know how to do anything except for just sort of make toys, and
well, I don't
that's
know.
awesome, and that's why you're doing
lucky
what you're
I
doing.
kind of ended up here.
I mean, you could go back to that pizza place. I could come in with my pizza points, so we could just see, like, we could make a deal. Come on,
Just hang out and pizza.
Yeah, and I probably would have like accepted those pizza points, and then my boss would be like, hey, you can't, every person that comes in and talks about Ninja Turtles, like, you can't give them a free slice, I'd be terrible at any other job.
You're accepting the pizza points, but only so you can have all the pizza points yourself.
Right, to cash in.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's funny. Well, before we go, without giving anything away, because I'm sure you're working on some of the stuff you've dreamed about working on. Doesn't have to be Ninja Turtles, but do you have, like, well, you already said real Ghostbusters would be a holy grail, but is there something that if you had the opportunity to jump on any property, figure, character that you've never gotten a chance to do, like, does anything come top of mind, or are you basically already doing that with TMNT?
TMNT was really, like, for the longest time, probably the very tippy top of, dream projects. There's other stuff that I love, like when I was a kid, in the 90s, like Saturday morning cartoons were kind of fading out, but like the Tick was one of my favorite. Yeah. I love anything that's just like goofy and fun and like a parody of like another thing. Like, Freakazoid was awesome. That I love that show, but like I got really, really obsessed for a while with the Tick cartoon. It started with that, and then I got all the comic books, and man, I'd love to work on a Tick figure.
That'd be cool.
I've sent you pictures. Like, I'm making that Slimer figure just for myself. Like, I've sent you, pictures of that Slimer sculpt that I started a couple weeks ago.
I love that. I obviously nobody.
That's another holy grail thing
to make Slimer. We should do a secret, like, bootleg run of unofficial NECA Slimers, and we'll all get in trouble.
I love it.
From everybody.
No,
Just
don't
announced
call,
it,
don't
so.
call it a NECA Slimer. Don't call it that.
The Trevor
Slimer.
The Trevor
That'd be a
Slimer.
problem.
The Trevor Slimer. Trust me, it'll be a problem for we'll all get shut down. It'll be like Walter Peck, just shutting everybody down.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, we're not doing any of that. I just want one. I don't care if anybody else
Yeah,
gets one. I want
no.
Trevor to have one. I want us to have one.
Exactly.
No, I mean that. We talked about that. This would be a whole episode probably, but I asked Jake this question all the time, and I asked Trevor, like, why is it so hard to get Slimer right? Like, what is it about that character that it just always seems like people can't? There's been really good Slimers and good attempts, but it's like it's never like that perfect Ghostbusters 1 Slimer.
I think it's mainly because, the way he appears in the film, he's like this glowing, translucent ghost. Like, you see pictures of the actual suit, and they sculpted, a couple different faces for that, or, expressions for the puppet.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the movie, he moves around, and he's this big blob, and it's like, he's got so much movement, and it's so blurry. And a lot of it happens so quick that it's very easy to interpret it in many ways, you know?
Right.
And even with like the movie Turtles, like, those puppet faces can change so quickly just as they're, trying to like emote or do something. And it's like, it's hard to nail a likeness on a puppet sometimes because there's some things that are like so specific and it is like, yeah, Slimer's like a really, really tough one. There's been so many different versions of that.
Right. Right.
And then he looks completely different in the second movie. And, sometimes you got to wonder, like, people at the company, like, is everyone looking at the right reference? Is this like a part 1 or is it part 2 or is it a hybrid of both? Like it just depends on.
Right.
There's a lot of factors. I think,
Jake, I think that's kind of what you always say is like, you're like, they don't know what they're looking at.
There's a lot of different pictures that people use as reference, and I think a lot of times people are just using the wrong reference photos for the wrong thing.
Yeah, because like even like the
there's just so much out there.
There's like a Slimer that is at like ILM, and it's not. It says it's a screen use Slimer. It's not. It's like made. It was made after Ghostbusters 2 by the same sculptors, and he kind of just made. It's like an amalgamation of GB1 and GB2 Slimer. So, but we won't release pictures of it without any permission. But Trevor, that Slimer you're working on is very,
cute.
very cool.
Very cute.
It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, I guess, God, we're over an hour. We're probably ready to wrap up, but we'll definitely have you back on to talk more Turtles down the road. Just so people know, like everybody who listens to this knows, like, the animated stuff is at Target, the movie stuff is at Walmart. Mm-hmm. You guys are doing pre-orders, but as far as the rest of the year going into the beginning of the year, like what should people be looking out from NECA Turtles? Looking out for from NECA Turtles? Ugh. I can talk.
Yeah, we've got the Krang and the android body is coming out soon. There's 2 more Triceratons. There's Captain Zerax and Lieutenant Zork. Those are like kind of the yellow and green ones.
Yep.
Those will be coming out soon. We've got more movie figures coming out. Trying to think of what has been announced and what hasn't.
Well,
been.
the Judith Hogue thing's a big deal. Like doing that first April.
Yeah,
figure.
Judith. Yeah, we're gonna be, and it's really cool looking. And that one too, like Judith and Randy had talked on our NECA's Instagram page about that one will be like a pre-sale. Like hopefully there's no bots, but it'll just go online just like Token and Razar did.
Cool.
Everyone's
cool.
got a shot at getting it. It's not going to sell out in a minute or whatever. So that one's real cool. Yeah, we've got, there's been a lot of talk about a turtle van.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's another one that, like, will we ever get to this point? There's a lot of figures in vehicle, like stuff that I just been customizing and making for myself. And like so much of it now is like turned into like legit, like real projects at NECA.
That's amazing.
But yeah, we are working on a van for the for the cartoon figures.
That's great. I mean, that's incredible. I think people are going to lose their minds over that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we've got like the video game figures that are at like specialty shops. So those guys are also important too. Like, you know, you can go to Big Bad and Entertainment Earth and you know, lots of other like local comic book stores and online toy shops and everything. The video game stuff, we've got another series of that coming out with like the Baxter from Turtles in Time and the Pirate Bebop and Rocksteady. And then after that, I think we're going to switch back over and do a few new comic book figures that haven't been done before.
Amazing.
That'll also be like exclusive to like specialty shops. So again, it's like, you know, you just go on Big Bad and pre-order it, or Entertainment Earth, or wherever you buy those figures at, you know.
Cool.
So yeah, there'll be some cool new comic book Turtles coming out next year.
Yeah, the Bebop and Rocksteady and the pirate costumes, those are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all up for pre-order now.
Those, I was working on those when we did our last interview, and you guys were like, "What are you working on now?" And I was like, Randy was on the phone. I was like, I don't know if I can say or not, but it was like, yeah, it was like the two pirate figures and Baxter were sitting on my desk right there when we were.
Those are so cool.
Our last talk.
Those are so cool. I'm trying to figure out, because I've got the animated diorama coming, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, how to display everything. I think I'm going to need some sort of separate shelf for all the video game figures. These are the things I stress about at night. It's fine.
It's fun. It's
good
stress.
stuff. And then
some of those guys, you can put them on the inside too. You can have them peeking out of the windows, like from the back or something.
Oh God,
you know?
I can't wait.
So
I can't wait.
Adds more depth.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of good stuff coming out for you guys. Obviously, let the turtle van, if and when that happens, is going to be a very big deal. Yeah, maybe down the road we'll get some hot rodding teenagers. Maybe. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying maybe it'll happen. Mm-hmm. And then we'll all then life will be complete finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one. We get tons of requests for those guys, and it just until a couple of years ago, it's like, you know, who thought those guys were so popular? And we get tons of requests for neutrinos.
Yeah, I think those neutrinos,
cool, like I always liked them.
That was one of the first VHSs,
mm-hmm.
and I think everybody had, like, that's probably my most seen episode is the Hot Rod Tears from Dimension X. Like, it's just kind of implanted in my brain. But yeah, you guys are killing it. It's awesome, man. We appreciate you taking some time to chat with us today, and we'll have to catch up a little bit down the road. See. And by the way this always works is the day after there's going to be a major announcement tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That's how it literally always happens.
NECA gets the Calico Critters license.
Yeah, the Calico Critters license obtained. Trevor is now the brand manager of Calico Critters at NECA.
Oh my God. Yeah, that would be
great. I'm looking the like vintage, like lots of Calico Critters up right now on eBay.
Cool. Yeah. Very cool. Jake, anything else before we sign off?
No, dude, just, let me know when to expect that Leprechaun figure and we're good.
Will do.
Yeah.
What do you think? One of the horror figures, we didn't talk about horror too much, but one thing my girlfriend and I are obsessed with is Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, that's a great movie.
As fans of,
I saw that for the first time last year. Yeah. There's
we've been watching it like for the last couple of years. It's amazing.
There's a really big audience for that movie. There's a lot of like, if you think about like the kind of Joe Bob Briggs community of people, there's a lot of people who really love that horror stuff. And Sleepaway Camp is like, it's up there.
It's awesome. I've been trying to pitch like a Toonie Terrors Angela to Randy for.
Oh, that would be great.
He can never tell if I'm being serious or not. He just kind of gives me this weird look. Like I'm like, no, you're like, got to make that.
That would fit right in, I think.
I mean, I think with Toonie Terrors, like you with those kind of figures, and even like the Back to the Future animated figures, like the price point, they're $12. Like people are gonna buy. If you're a horror fan, you're already buying those figures. You're gonna buy that Angela figure. Yeah. Like my big plan is I've already made this big proclamation. That I'm going to get the Toonie Terrors Scream Ghostface figure and the retro and the ultimate, and I'm going to display them all together. That's my big plan. I'm very excited about it.
Very cool.
That's a good plan. Yeah. Sounds great.
Thank you. I got the approval. They're going to let me do it. Well, Trevor, we won't keep you any longer, but let's catch up soon, and good luck with everything. Congratulations on NECA's success this year. Congratulations on making it out of the pizza place into the making toys business. And that was a big step. That was a big step for you. We know that, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks,
All
dude.
right, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Bye, man.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.